you. One of the things that occurred to me as I was asked to do this is, well, the lack of qualifications, the insufficiency, and that's a good place to start, probably. Because I think it's where we all start. We have to start from that perspective of insufficiency. We're not what we could be, and we're not even close. And so, why are we here is the other idea, and I think that manifests itself as simply put, looking for redemption. And what does that mean? Well, it means, first of all, the idea that we start with a recognition of insufficiency. Because why do we look for anything better if we already are better, if we already have something more? And what redemption means is really setting right. You see this we use it across all sorts of things. When you redeem a mortgage, it's to have paid it. When you, in a sports thing, we say they redeemed this horrible loss. This team should never have lost. And then they come back and they win again. They've redeemed themselves somehow. Well, what does that mean? It means to make right. Well, so part of that knowledge to make right means it's not right to start with. That's a good place to start. It's not right to start with. There could be something more. And then, so what is that more? And that becomes what is called looking to the light. Or the other way of looking at that is orienting yourself to the highest good. And how do you determine that? Well, we look for what's meaningful in life. And we came here because we were looking for meaning. It's like we didn't come here because, well, we accidentally stumbled in here. We stumbled upon this event. It was a plan for, there could have been a million things anyone did today other than this. Watching the NFL playoffs, for example, or any number of other things. But this was prioritized, and why? Well, it's the way we oriented our value. We have to orient towards something. And why not towards something better? And that's the next part of redemption, is the turning to. And it's the idea, the religious idea is turning from sin, let's say. But it's not just that. It's not limited from that either. It's the idea of turning toward the light as you see it, and not admitting that's all the light that there is. And with kids we say the same idea where, aren't they just perfect the way they are? No, clearly not. That's why we say they have so much potential. There's so much they could be. And you train them, hopefully, to that end, behave in ways which are approaching that potential. We recognize when people haven't hit that, they've missed, they're not what they could be. And that's what you feel in yourself, is you're not what you could be, and there's something missing, and there's something in you that's missing that you saw reflected in her. And vice versa, there's something there that was missing, and you weren't sufficient as you were, because why not remain as you are? There are lots of fish in the sea. Why not have your cake and eat it too? Why not just discard someone when they're not useful to you? Well, there's no meaning in it. And so it comes to the last part of what does meaning mean? And it means to confine, to limit. When we talk about the meaning of a word, like hunting, it means something in particular. It means going after something to take it down, to kill it, let's say. Well, if Judy said to Rebel, my idea of hunting is I'm going to traipse the woods behind you, singing loudly to chase the animals away. Well, we haven't confined the meaning of hunting. It's like the meaning is lost because there isn't that definition. There isn't that confining, that limiting. And so, the last part, not the last part, but the last stage of the redemption is not only the recognition of your insufficiency, the recognition of your fallibility and your frailty, and not just the orienting yourself, but then limiting. And that's what you do with focus, for example, as well. When you focus on something, you focus out everything else. Everything else becomes blurred as a consequence. And so the limiting, well, that's what we're about to see. Spoiler alert. It's something to the effect of, I forsake all others. And I don't forsake you. No matter what. And I have this realization. I've been married almost 12 years. Thinking of this, thinking to myself, what a hypocrite. There are things in me that are contingency oriented. When you get hurt, you withdraw. What is withdrawing? It's not committing fully. This is everything I have, I give to you. Everything that I am, I give to you. And when you withdraw, it's the opposite of that. And well, I realized, for instance, that there was many insufficiencies, and this is not like I realized it for some time, but it becomes more clear and focused in certain moments. And but, well, maybe it's enough for me just to know it, let's say. Maybe I shouldn't. Do I have to acknowledge that to my wife? And well, it turned out I did have to, personally. And it's a humbling thing, because what you're saying is, when I said to her, I commit to you fully, unreservedly, they don't stand up and be a hypocrite. And it's also acknowledgement that I wasn't before. I wasn't unreserved. I was reserved. I held something back. And that's what I think the realization is, that marriage isn't only a state of being, it's a state of becoming. And that as you have the light to see, you have a little light, it's going to become in a minute it's going to become a greater light. Well, this is the New Testament idea of who's the greatest. When you come under one, we're doing one thing, and then we're becoming this greater good together. And the question becomes, well, who gets to be in charge of who? And the idea is that everyone is subservient to the light. That's what you serve. The greatest is he who serves. What do you serve? The light, the higher thing. You don't have the light, but you're looking down and saying, by the way, I'm the light. Come to me. Looking up to looking for the light. A constant recognition of insufficiency. And of reorienting, and of continuing to reorient. And to confine yourself, no matter what. Which is so much of our, when we negotiate, which is what marriage entails. And if you don't know this, you'll find it out. Amen. Endless negotiation. Typical negotiation is, I give up this insofar as I see that. Or for this time period. I want a 2-year recurring contract. This is my out, by the way. And, this is the fine print. Well, you're approaching the point of no return. There is no out. And this is when an idea occurred to me when I was talking to my wife about this insufficiency I realized in myself was, When you say, I'm not going anywhere, no matter what, it isn't clear whether that constitutes a promise or a threat. If someone walked into your house and told you, by the way, I'm here and I'm not going anywhere no matter what, there's nothing you can do to make me leave. Well, you test that theory, let's say. But what I realize is it depends on how you're oriented. So, because there's great strength and promise in that. If there's nothing you can do, there's nothing you can tell me that I'm ever going to forsake you. There's no way you can be. There's tremendous strength and uplift in that idea. But it also has the alternate idea, and that is, tell the truth, look to the light, otherwise we're stuck in hell. Forever, because there's no getting out of it. And then that becomes the threat. The threat is what chases you. It's like, and it's still good to have that. You don't know how fast you can run until a bear is chasing you, right? You may think you're running fast, but you find a new speed. And so, what that means, no matter what, well, it's both of those ideas. It's a threat and it's a promise. And it's willingly taken. Like no one was dragging Heather down the aisle. Thankfully, that's what we're all witness to. Is that no one was dragging her. Ben didn't have to be handcuffed and brought in by these two gentlemen to. It's what's the best limitation? One that is taken on willingly. You start with kids with their strict ideas like, don't bite your sister. Okay. Well, by now we're hoping that that's a self-limitation, that it doesn't have to be imposed upon them anymore. You begin to emerge into this self-limiting. So if meaning requires limitation, what's ultimately meaningful? Well, whatever's ultimately limiting. There was this interesting thing I heard this before I was married. And it was this idea of, this couple had been married 70 years, I think it was, or, quite old. And the question is, how has your marriage lasted? What's the secret? What's the key ingredient? It doesn't happen. It's difficult. It's hard. What's the key ingredient? And of course, you hear all these pearls of wisdom, like don't go to bed angry, and all these good things. They're not bad things. They're good things. But the simplicity of the answer was remarkable. He said, I always put the toilet seat down. Good start. She said, I always put it back up. Well, that's ridiculous, right? That's not the key to marriage. It doesn't matter. Those things don't matter. I think, oh, really? If you think they don't matter, you've never heard a woman who sat on a toilet seat that's not there. But, because when you're restrained, everything matters. And that's what it is. Not like this porcelain entity is just for my current, it's recognition of other, of the future, of, it's not just me in this moment. It's someone else too. And when everything matters, there's nothing that you're not willing to go through. When you know you're in it forever, well, you're best off heading to the light. Otherwise, you're stuck forever in the dark. So, how much are you willing to limit yourselves to that end? How much limitation, how much constraint are you willing to take on to that end? And it's not a question I just lay at you either. I laid it at my own feet, by the way, but this is a question to you today. And we're going to find out.
I met you in 2015 on a wildland fire. You were a fire medic and I was a hot shot. I affected a quiet, stoic disposition. And when you spoke to me, I was struck by the warmth of your voice. Then we parted, never to see each other again. Well, I took stock of the situation and discovered your name on the fire's incident action plan. Name in hand, I did what any modern social media suitor would and found your Facebook profile. My opening line read, Heather, I don't typically make a habit of Facebook stalking, but in this case I have a proposition. In exchange for a jar of your homemade blueberry jam, I offer the choice of sandhill crane, black bear, and salmon from the Ferguson family freezer. This was not as totally crazy as it might sound, since you already had raised the possibility of a blueberry jam delivery. We stayed in contact over the summer, and in the fall you somehow accepted my offer and drove 350 miles from Wasilla to Delta to deliver that jar of blueberry jam. When I consider how little I actually knew you when we met, the unlikely chain of events that followed, and the particular fit of our two souls, I was struck by the beautiful wonder of it all. Heather, your soul shines a radiant light. It is an intimation of things eternal. I saw it when you beamed with happiness as we did yard work in Las Vegas for your 86-year-old grandmother. I saw it in your childlike joy as we chased the northern lights around the Matsu Valley late into the night. I see it in your easy excitability, and I see it in your exceedingly tender heart. And knowing how quickly time passes, and that a good life is properly judged from the end of life looking back, I promise to bring under that same radiant light all of my defects of pride, vanity, and selfishness, that our love, fully purified, is fully realized. Within us all there is, I think, a sense that we are not now all that it is possible for us to be. We wish to be known as completely formed human beings, but beneath our veneer is the natural condition of the soul's restless striving of its struggle toward the light. Heather, I commit to be the kind of husband that treasures the moral life within you. I treasure that life by the wisdom to distinguish what in the quiet of your soul is properly left alone because it is delicate in its germ, from that separate life which takes from active encouragement its vital nourishment. Heather, I take you as my wife with faith and without foreknowledge. The future beckons, more promise than menace, I hope. I take you with faith that honesty over time creates a strong foundation of trust. I take you with faith that our lives have higher purpose, that we might adopt a mode of being oriented to truth, and from this truth form a common aim. The tensions rise, and though the little vessel of our marriage should run against the rocks, I promise to communicate openly and honestly and to prize reconciliation over injury. And though from neglect or bitterness our marriage could drift, in the words of Dylan Thomas, gently into that good night, I promise to rage against the dying light. Heather, I can't wait to begin my life.
Benjamin, there was no question to me the day we met that our meeting was divinely lit. There was, however, no way of knowing how profoundly that meeting would change the course and depth of our lives. Since you and I met, you have blessed me ceaselessly. With your kindness, generosity, patience, and spirited nature, I have felt protected and loved. You seek the truth within yourself and the world. This seeking has deepened the understanding I have of myself and of the world. Since meeting your family, there has been no end to the grace, love, and generosity they have shown to me and my family. From the beginning, because of all this, all of these things and many more, my heart has overflowed, and the well of my soul has greatly deepened. Our love has developed through attraction and desire, and now we stand together at the foot of the mountain, with God as our guide to the greater love, which is charity. We will have ample opportunity to approach this love. Of this I am sure. As we grow in this journey, our love will pull away that which is less than itself and reveal each other's goodness and potential, as it has already begun to do. It is the kind of love which brings light forth into the world and takes not for itself. It is with this love, under the witness of God, my Father, and all of those who are gathered here today, that I take you as my husband and make the following vow. Benjamin, I vow to be truthful to you and to help you find the truth and beauty of the world. I vow to be loyal to our marriage and faithful to you. I vow to honor and respect you and your family. I vow to persevere with you in times of peace and conflict, and to be with you through all suffering and joy that this life brings. I vow to make sacrifices when necessary for the betterment of our family. And Benjamin, I vow to love you with all the charity and mercy that I can give for all the days of our lives.
With this ring I thee wed.
With this ring I be with.
This ring I thee wed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's that?
Sorry. From this day to the end of my days,
From this day to the end of my days,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Family, the ring I remember. With this ring I thee wed.
This ring I thee wed.
From this day
From this day
unto the end of my days,
unto the end of my days,
so help me God.
so help me God.
The light candle. By the power vested in me, by God and interweb ordination, I declare you man and wife. Make us the bride. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. and Mrs. Benjamin Rowe, Judah Ferguson.